the DHA studies with ADD show it doesn't work. So EPA if you have the struggle with depression. DHA, better for anxiety, busy minds, OCD. Now ours, the one we make, is higher in EPA because we have a very high depression ADD practice here, but it also has a substantial amount of DHA. For 2 capsules, it's 1,600 milligrams, so it's probably about 4 servings, normal-sized servings of fish a week.
And to add what Daniel said, DHA also helps vascular health in the brain. So our group published in Neurology 2 years ago showing that higher DHA content in the diet can reduce the amount of small strokes you get in the brain as you age. So it's very good for the brain in that sense as well. And so they're kind of good supplements to take together.
Yes, ma'am. So if you're allergic to fish, then I would try the algae EPA DHA. So the company is called Martech. Yes?
Walking 1 mile a day, is it, versus, let's say you walk 2 days, 2.5 miles per week, is it better to do it more consistently or more days per week?
So the question is, rather than walking a mile every day, can you walk 2 miles every other day?
We looked at walking over a whole week, and we didn't look at the distribution of walking versus 1 day or not. I honestly don't think it makes much of a difference. That's my opinion. I think that depending on how you can build it into your day, I personally walk 2 miles a day. I actually walk to work at UCLA. I don't drive, which in LA is a blessing. And I think
You're getting a double benefit.
I know, seriously. And so I think, if you can make it more of a routine, you're more likely to do it. But if 1 week you can only fit in a couple of miles here or there on 2 days, then you can't feel guilt over that. You just have to do the best you can in getting these lifestyle choices as part of your daily life.
And you work out, right? I mean, you're like
you work out
to
too.
Live the message. I like that. And as I was talking about earlier, this really isn't about you this weekend. It's about generations of you. The more you actually live the message, the better messenger you are. And then because you're influencing the people you're around with every day, whether you know it or not. You're influencing them. And so you just want to ask yourself, do you want to be a good influence or not a good influence? And I just want you to make it conscious in your head. Okay, so Ken, switch back to my slides. And what I want to do before lunch will be here shortly, is I want to start an exercise with you where you know your motivation. So actually, there's some paper in your packets, or if you just have a piece of paper, I want you to start writing down 5 reasons why you have to have a great brain. I want you to write down 5 reasons why you have to have a great brain. What's your motivation to get well? Brain.
Oh, brain. Oh, I thought you said friend.
5 reasons why you have to have a great brain. So here are 10 of my reasons. So when I really think about it, and I think about what's important to me, there is no amount of cheeseburgers or fries or sodas or double fudge chocolate chip brownies worth damaging my health and stealing the time I have with my family. I practiced my show for this year, Use Your Brain to Change Your Age, at my mom's house. So I always do that before the show. I'll go, hey, Mom, can I come over and read you the script? And can you get some of your friends? And she's always great. And last year, I did that, and one of her friends was a 60-year-old nurse who lived down the street. And after the first act, she said, you know, now that I'm 60, I just don't want to have to think about what I eat, and I don't want to have to think about exercising anymore. And it sort of took me back a little bit. And then I was thinking about it, and a few minutes later, I looked at her and I said, you know, well, like, that's okay, as long as you're okay with the effects of aging on your brain. Brain fog, depression, memory problems. Because the fact is as we age, you have less room for error, not more room for error. But you have to know why you care. You have to focus on your motivation, or food will totally control you. A wonderful book to read is called The End of Overeating by David Kessler, who used to be the former head of the FDA. And he talks about how flavorists, so food companies hire these people that know how to put together certain combinations of fat, sugar, and salt that actually work on the heroin centers of your brain. So certain foods are totally addictive. I had one woman. So we had just started the Daniel Plan, and I was seeing lots of patients from Saddleback in my office. And I'm sitting in my chair actually drinking green tea. And she said, would you put the tea down? It's the first time anybody had ever asked me, any of my patients ever asked me to stop drinking tea in the middle of a session. And I'm like, okay. She said, I didn't want you to spit it at me when you hear what I'm going to tell you. She said, after you spoke at Saddleback, I was so angry on the way home that I told my husband I would rather get Alzheimer's disease than give up sugar. Think about that. And I asked her, I said, did you go after the bad boys in high school? Because that's clearly a bad relationship. That, you know, your relationship with a substance, with a food substance, is more important than your health. That's crazy. But food will control you. Why do you, so if we go back to the pictures of my grandchildren, of my kids. So I adore these children. I mean, like all of them. If I see them on my phone, you know, they call me, I immediately get happy. Or Brianne or Katie text me a picture of Emmy or Eli or Lily immediately. And when I don't see them, I long for them. Do you know how that is? I don't know, how many of you are grandparents? Yeah. And you have that feeling. It's like being in love. Well, it is being in love, but it's like falling in love, right? There are people, and I used to be one of them, that would long for the fries at Del Taco. I mean, how crazy is that? Right? Or for an In-N-Out cheeseburger. I have an emotional attachment. No, that's not rational. But these companies know how to put this stuff together to work on an area of your brain called the nucleus accumbens. And the nucleus accumbens is very important because it is your brain's pleasure button. When you push on it, it's like, I like that. And so, you know, I was talking to Eli on the phone yesterday, and I just like that, right? Eli pushes on the pleasure button. Or Tanner will be here in a little bit, and it'll just make me smile because I like when I see her. I don't want food to take that place. But the problem is, as your weight goes up, Cyrus, did you know this? As your weight goes up, your nucleus accumbens, the reactions in your nucleus accumbens go down. It's just like an addiction. And so when you stop the bad food, initially, if you're not doing all these other good things to keep your brain healthy, you can get depressed. You can like not feel pleasure anymore, so you then have to go gorge. So you have to always protect your pleasure centers. Anybody ever wonder why Tiger Woods ended up with 12 women? It's because he wore out his pleasure center. I mean, I'm like, he's won all these major championships. He's got this stunningly beautiful wife. It's like, what's the matter with you? But it's like eating too much good food. Too much pleasure begins to wear it out. And so it takes more and more in order to feel anything at all. So protecting your pleasure center will keep you out of trouble. My friend Cyrus's study. This is what motivated me. So what is your motivation to get healthy? Write it down. Be positive. So for me, I want to live long, have great energy, look great, be smart, be there for my family. Who wants to read their 5? Yes, ma'am. Stand up. Oh, actually, come with me, because
I wrote 10 reasons, but I only got to 5. But stay healthy as role model for my family. I say that because I was one of 7, and 4 have died. And my younger sister weighs 326 pounds. And my older sister has diabetes. The younger sister has diabetes. The younger sister just finished her last chemotherapy a few weeks ago. Anyway,